It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, it's time for part 2 of Friday's video. On Friday, I talked about the interview between Frank Canada and Ed McLaughlin. Ed McLaughlin is one of the co-owners of a company called Predictive Insights. They use the DCA technology from a company called EKM in Europe. They sell that technology here in the United States. And Ed and Frank were doing this interview trying to squash the conspiracies out there that EKM, HP, and Tech Data were going to steal a dealer's customers. And, folks, I'm pretty sure they were talking about me. I took ownership of that because at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot of people talking about anything that's disruptive in our industry other than me. Everybody else sugarcoats all the conversations you hear. But in that interview, there was some more discussions, and further into the interview that they got to the part about HP Amplify. And so today what I want to do is I want to talk about what Ed and Frank are saying regarding HP Amplify. I'm going to play that video this time. I'm going to play that conversation, that banter going back and forth between these two gentlemen. And I'll stop it along the way. There's about a minute or so of conversation around Amplify. But I want you all to listen to this because I think it's the root of the problem in our industry. And the problem in our industry, we just lost our fight for overreaching OEMs. We don't even acknowledge they exist to a degree. So without any further ado, let me jump on the Sharp Interactive board. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
According to some individuals, are taking too large a steps in their certain programs that they have, and they have that program. I think it's called Allied. I forget.
I got to stop it there because we all know Ed McLaughlin. Okay, Ed McLaughlin didn't forget Amplify. He's the co-owner of DCA Technology Company here in Americas. HP is one of EKM's customers. They would know about the Amplify agreement. They probably know the Amplify agreement intimately, okay? And I think, is this a way that just to dismiss it like it's not really a big deal, I don't even remember the name of it? Or, worse, does HP forbid anybody that does business with them to use the word Amplify? I'm just asking the question because, come on, folks. I mean, I think it's a legitimate question.
I forget what they call it now. But it's specifically designed for the managed print business, and it gives huge discounts, and they ask for a lot of information.
Oh, that's amplified.
Amplified, and quite honestly, Frank, you and I have seen this through the years, through the decades. I mean,
so I can stop it there. Frank, we've seen this through the years, through the decades. We've seen OEMs through the decades doing what HP Amplify is doing. Here's where I'm going to strongly disagree. Because both Ed McLaughlin and Frank Canada know these to be facts. Decades ago, we didn't even have computers. Decades ago, we had no AI. Decades ago, we had no DCA technologies. Decades ago, we did not have RPA technologies. Decades ago, we collected business cards, glued them to index cards, and put them in shoe boxes. That was our CRM. Decades ago, folks, what HP Amplify is doing today has nothing to do with anything anybody did decades ago. And the bottom line is, when the senior leaders in our industry can't even discuss this and discuss the threats legitimately, we have to ask ourselves a question: why can't they do it? Because both Frank and Ed know this also to be a fact. Decades ago, leaders in our industry would stand up to overreaching OEMs and they would fight like crazy. Decades ago, they would fight like crazy against overreaching OEMs. But for some reason, HP is untouchable. For some reason, HP has a handle over everything. They're trying to control the conversation. Some of our leaders put them on their blogs and they allow HP to talk about how secure all the data is. Distracting from the real threats. And I'm hoping that on Friday's video, I was able to outline for you the probable disruption, not the conspiracy. Hopefully today's video puts in your mind one more thing. Why can't we fight HP and ask them really serious questions around Amplify? Why do we allow HP to control the narrative? And here's how I'm going to end today's video. When you're buying DCA technologies, you got to ask yourselves, what am I buying this technology for? What am I going to use it for, and how is it going to make me money? Because, folks, I hear so many pie-in-the-sky fantasies around technology anymore, it's absurdity. Not too long ago, I heard someone being interviewed. I think it's a joke, so I got to verify it before I really call them out. Maybe I'll pull their video up on the end of the day with Ray and play it, the interview. But they were talking about how they were going to replace the accounting system for the document imaging channel, a DCA tool company. And I'm thinking to myself, if there's any private equity involved in that, maybe they should call up Grey Rock Capital and ask them how it went with FORZA. Remember the last time somebody tried to replace the accounting system in the document imaging channel? Do you remember all that? 10 years of hype, of hype, of hype, of hype. Where's that at now? Are they doing all those things over at Konica? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you need technology for? How's that technology going to make you money right now today? Before you start ripping apart platforms and going on another platform, ask yourself a question. What am I gaining? I think I came up with a new slogan. Anytime you're presented with some technology that sounds like you're getting ready to get on a spaceship, in other words, it does a million different things. It's going to replace the PSA tool ConnectWise. It's going to replace eAutomate. It's going to replace the DCA technology. It's going to replace e-commerce technology. It's going to do everything. Next time you hear that, ask yourself this question. Is this a FORZA scenario? Is this a FORZA scenario? Should be the question that everybody asks themselves when presented a bunch of hype around technology. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.